Alright, folks, today is a great video. I was given a great suggestion by my friend Time Paradog, some of you probably know him, to do a boss pet tier list of all the boss pets that exist in RuneScape. Well, I mean, mostly all of them. And I have created the template too. I'll probably drop that link in the description. And we're just going to rank them. I'll give you my thoughts on each one, why they land where they land. Some obviously will have more to say than others, but let's get after it. First, we're going to add. We're just going to get the easiest one out of the way first. Make the tier all pretty. Um, where is he? I can't even. I can't pick his face out of a crowd. There he is. So Vit is God tier. I basically don't even have to explain why. It's the most legendary pet. You see a guy with Vit, you know he's a different breed. Um, Up there with other S tier pets. Maybe we need an SS tier. Um, those two pretty easy. I really like Time Clone Carapac is fantastic as well. It's kind of got the same intrigue as Vit. It is 1,000 hard mode kills, which is no small feat. Um, and obviously it's yellow. I like yellow things. You know, a lot of players probably agree with me there. FSOA looks amazing. Miso is a very cute kitty. It's very green. Raziel is a fun boss, and I'm sure many people agree with that. Or, well, he was a lot more fun before they they made Skulls not do the recursive boosting thing with all the undead boosts, but whatever. Um, Two more great pets. Um, we're basically just gonna pick and choose. So like Kalphite King, I think here maybe we should let's actually diversify this further. Um, let's do like an not quite a gray. Let's maybe do this blue S plus tier. Uh, move this guy here. This will be like A plus, which is like maybe an orange, and then we'll have an A minus probably, and then a B plus too. Oops, that would be below. Oopsie. Right, B tier. I'm losing it. I'm losing it, guys. B B plus. Just because I feel like there's probably a good deal more like differentiation we can do. Because I do think Time Clone Carapac is one I would consider using over Vit on a daily basis. Um, to be frank. Um, this guy here, I think the visual design of the Carapac boss is fine, but in the smaller size, it doesn't hold up. It's not a bad pet by any means, though. Um, Bombi, I chose not to include all the colors of Bombi because they're basically identical. You can just pick the color that you like. Blue is very legendary. You know, you're a bomb tanker. Red is sort of, you know, you're rock hard. Purple is if you're a memer, and green is if you're an ultra memer and you stand in the gas to troll your teammates. I think Bombi's good. Bombi definitely loses points for having a kind of a random special attack animation. He just kind of swings around a little bit. Um, Telos pet. He's got two tendril arms, which is not exactly like the Telos boss, and his head's kind of cut off in the image here, unfortunately. I guess they squared him up, and then his his uh, his head got cut off. But yeah, the it makes good noises. It goes and the spec, you know, the animations are fluid. Can't complain about it. Cheeto Zuck, some would say. Definitely an S tier. Very 200 Zux is harder than 1,000 Carapax. I don't know if he's quite as good though. He's got just the standard melee swing animation is very powerful, and then the of the spec is something to be respected, I think. Cranon Pet, A plus. Yeah, I think he belongs in A plus. I'm struggling to remember what his spec animation is. I haven't used him in quite a while. And sorry for that Discord ping. That was me. Let's disable those for the time being. Um, yeah, I think Cranon Pet is really good. When I got it, I put that thing on and did not take it off for a while. Um, I don't even know what to go for next. Ellie. Ellie is my first ever boss pet. I explicitly went out of my way to get this one because it's quite good. I think it speaks. It would be very nice too if we had like the legacy, like the old school Chaos Elemental design in game as well. I put the old Dag Kings in here. You've probably seen them. Um, I think I think we would be well served to have the original Chaos Elemental pet as well. But the new one, I think the new one works well in pet form. I think it floats along a cloud behind you. I think it's cute. I think it works. Let's see here. What can we go for next? We can go for Nex, who also lands herself in the A plus tier. The next Terminator, just a great pet. Again, representing a boss that's very fun. It's looking a bit imbalanced here, but I guess I'm going for all the ones I have thoughts on first. So, uh, those generally are going to land them higher. I don't know if I talked about Kalphite King extensively. He has a little quake animation when he specs, and I mean, all around, just a good pet. I mean, just use it, just unlock it. We got this extremely overpowered sign event going on right now. Go for it. Um, Geez, A plus. Does he belong in A plus? No, we'll demote Yakaminu to A. Yakaminu, well, I think it's definitely a good pet, and I definitely like the running animation. He does lose some points for the pool and the jumping animation kind of fall out of sync with each other when you're running. If they were more synchronized, then maybe we would prefer him, but unfortunately, no. Not so lucky is Queen Black Dragon. Does she go in B or C? C. Just not pretty. She just kind of levitates behind you. She's pretty annoying to get. Just not too much good to say about her. They could have gone for like maybe a Grotworm pet. I think she was part of the initial release of boss pets though, which I think were just miniaturized versions of the bosses the whole time. So who knows? Not particularly a fan of her. Speaking of things that I'm not a fan of and bosses I'm not a fan of, Zamo the Rack, or Zamo the Rat if you prefer. It's just a greater demon. I get that they updated them for the Zamorakian Undercity, also known as the Zamorakian University. I get that they were graphically updated, but it's just not my cup of tea. And I don't know. It's just he doesn't do too well. He's very bland. It doesn't work very well on the miniaturized scale. Let me contrast that with the most recent addition to my boss pet collection, which is the Chaos Demon version, which I actually just got before recording this video, so I could feel like I give you a fair review on it. Even, you don't require all the pet skins to get IFB. Maybe you should, and maybe the title would mean more if you did, but you don't have to. So I had to finish that up with my IFB unlocked, and he definitely looks a lot better than his cousin. So we'll give him points for that. Again, the animations look silly. It looks kind of like he's bowling. I like to call them. I like to call full-scale greater demons bowling a 300 demons. So I don't know. It it's a decent looking pet in theory, but in practice kind of falls a bit short. Um, who can we pick on next? Raksha, a a pet. I do. If there's one thing I dislike about Raksha, he's kind of like bulky, stocky. Um, but he does make a fine pet. He is a dinosaur, of course. And the little tail swipe animation for his spec is quite good. So he does land himself an A tier. I don't begrudge any of the time that I had Rakshapet. I think I'll also put Kororyu in A tier. Kind of a crummy image of him, but it is a spirit dragon. It's a very long spirit dragon, but he's got a purplish black hue to him. Just kind of an inherently cool. Kind of looks like a cosmic dragon. Gladys. I think Gladys will land in the A minus tier. Looks very icy. Looks very chilled. I am also going to take this moment to address my grievance of they originally called the pet unlock item the Glacior Claw, which I thought was appropriate, but then they changed it to be Glacior Core, or I think the broadcast has always said Glacior Core, but the item was called Glacior Claw. As far as I'm concerned, the core of the Glacior is the frozen core of Leng, so the fact that the pet item would be the Claw would be appropriate. Also, I believe the Calphite King's item is the Calphite Claw, so it's not like Claw items can't drop for bosses, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if you know what I mean. um, let's go with this guy, this fellow, Legiopet. This counts for all six of them. I think the B tier is where they belong. They're all, they kind of lose points on just not being very original. They're smaller versions of the actual boss. You can kind of pick the shape and color you want. I believe I've put Primulus in the image. But, whatever. The Legios. They shoot. They kind of do that spinny animation when they're shooting. But they're just dudes. They just hang out and float behind you. Whatever. Okay. I think... where does Little Sus belong? I think he's in the B+. I think... And this is like... Because Crosus is just this big, immobile, like, sundress-wearing mass with a weird mushroom growing out of the top of him, the pet just, like, is Crosus, and he just kind of levitates behind you. I don't know if it really works. Like, they should have had him, like, sort of do a Yakaminu animation to walk, where he, like, sprouts into the ground, or I guess burrows into the ground and then sprouts up behind you again. I don't know, I just felt like that would have worked better, but that's probably too complicated. They were cranking out boss after boss after boss. They couldn't test to see if the pet animations were working correctly, so whatever. They're fine. It's fine. He's a fine guy. Minister, he's a bobblehead. I'm actually somewhat partial to bobbleheads. In a sense, I would have preferred a Raziel bobblehead to Miso, and a Zamorak bobblehead to Zamo the Rack. But what can you do really at the end of the day? Miso remains a great pet. But especially because we have other Majora bobbleheads, I feel like it's specifically insulting that we didn't get a Zamorak one. Not that it's even... Not that bobbleheads are... I don't really have a specific preference to bobbleheads, and I don't really have much more to say about them. Now, I've just realized I've placed Minister in B tier, and I talked about how I don't like bobbleheads very much. The reason Minister lands in B tier is because I like the Magister as a boss. And so we're going to put some of the disgraced Barrows bobbleheads. Do they belong in D tier? There's the thing about these Barrows bobbleheads, well, we got to consider them in the grander context of things. So they're actually going to get into C, and for good reason. They do belong in C tier because they can do that special dance, but there's no achievement in them unless you're an Iron Man, I guess. I don't really have anything unique to say about any of them. I don't know if I ever even used any of them as overrides. They're purple, which, I mean, might work for if you're a Shadow Die fanatic. Again, the best thing about these guys really would be the little dance, if you can manage to get 6 of them together. I feel like D tier is probably going to be pretty empty, because I don't think many things are going to belong there. Well, you and I together, I think we can think of a few. But for later. I'm going to keep wearing away, and I notably missed Arch Gladys. It is strange. It's sort of a black ice variant, which I think is kind of nice. Nice, haha. But it's not really inventive. It's not breaking the mold or breaking the ice. What else can I say about it? Nothing. I don't know. It belongs in the tier, same tier as his brother. Okay. Maybe in the same vein. Ooh, does he belong in A+? You know what? Maybe he does. Again, just gonna have to give him the pros for the sound design. So that's that. I'm actually going to demote Nex here too, because I don't know if I can leave Nex on the same tier as Zuck. So there you go. That's got to happen. Let's see here. Who can I talk about next? Flying Kalphite Queen. Very good pet. I almost feel like there need to be 4 tiers in A. Well, I'll have to circle back and see if anything needs to be re-tiered within A at the end of the video. Who else can we do? Shrimpy. So Shrimpy used to be, you had something... I'm going to say this as someone who did Shrimpy the original way. You had to have something going on upstairs that differs from the typical psychology of a human. To demand of the player to do, I believe what's the average KC for a boss pet? It's like 2/3 of the way through the 3rd threshold or something. I don't know. I think it is an average of slightly over 100 kilns. No, that wouldn't be right. Or would it? Who knows? I don't. But yeah, it's definitely a fair amount of kilns to get him. Definitely devalued Shrimpy with the release of Zuck. But it's just kind of, again, a Harakin head that floats behind you. They could have just as easily. I think it's the plague of being an original boss pet release. So you're just a miniaturized version of the boss, which many times looks wonderful. Like, for example, the Chaos Elemental. But it leaves the animations being not very distinct, but just a head. Like, it's just a head that floats behind you. Not that great. Let's see. Srekjad. Is a crime against humanity that Srekjad cannot be used for combat overrides, and so you can't say that much about him. Like, you just can't. The unlock method is unconventional, which I think is actually a point in his favor, because Jad, it's like a guaranteed drop on Jad, but it definitely requires you to go out of your way to get it, because you need to go get an additional fire cape, which is not something that people usually do. So, win for Srekjad. He beats out Shrimpy, but unfortunately he can't be used in combat. It's like Edamute Pet. when are we getting... Edmu's literally already have animations. They could just give this guy's Jad animations, so shame about that. Where can we put the Hermid pet? Probably in the same tier. He's sort of a kindred spirit with the Zuck pet, but I feel like he's a bit more juvenile in his speech. He just goes like, rah! I don't know, he's a bit less balanced with his animations. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't know, Zuck feels very sturdy, Hermid feels a bit more reckless. And maybe that's fitting because he's just a phantom that animates a suit of armor. Um, Whatever. He's also I don't think I ever used him because I got that collection log done way too fast after the release of Necromancy, so I still wanted to show off Omen. They say Omid, Omen, the Necromancy pet, because it was still like more impressive. Like there were fewer people who had 200 mil when I had 200 mil, so I was exhibiting that pet to show off my experience, rather than exhibiting off the Hermit pet, which who cares? It's like you killed Hermit. I'd rather people know I've already finished the skill. Mole pet, just kind of gross. Annoying to unlock. I like how I did all my praise for the boss pets at the beginning of the video, and now it's just kind of going to get more progressively more negative. But yeah, mole pet is no one cares about mole pet. Okay, it's not. No, we don't. Again, I feel like this is the sort of pet where they would like some of the God War 2 pets, which I know a lot of them are still on the table. We've got these two Twin Furies, and then we got Rarvek and where is she? Venditti somewhere. She's somewhere on the list. I actually don't see her right now. Oh, here she is. Um, there can be. It's not illegal to have two pets drop from the same boss, and I think if we had a Legacy Mole pet and a Legacy whatever I was talking up earlier about here. Oh no, I don't remember what the other Legacy pet I wanted. Oh yeah, Chaos Elemental. Um, well, it's because the Chaos Elemental is a decent pet on its own right. But if we had versions of these pets that are their old school versions, I think those would get some good mileage, be a nice reward, and might encourage players to revisit those bosses they deserted immediately after getting the pets. Um, let's see. Mallory. I think Mallory breaks into A minus. Just maybe. Just maybe. I think the Iraq site design is inherently cool. Obviously the boss is terrible. Um, the worst boss of the game, bar none. But the pet is a decent reward for your troubles. Um, that's all I have to say. While we're addressing Iraq sites, maybe we should talk about these guys. Do they deserve D? These guys maybe deserve D, and maybe the special ones deserve C tier. They just actually I don't like the pulse. The pulsing spider is kind of ugly. I feel like the poison one and the mirror back one you get the best mileage out of. And it's like yeah, seeing the other things in this tier I don't really like negate any of my feelings of just seeing the weird gross bulky, overly bulky spiders. Um, Corp Beast. Where is she gonna land? It's definitely a B or a B plus. I think. I think it. Well, does it belong with the mole? Yeah, probably. It's nothing special. It really isn't. Um, some people might be offended by that pick. Oh, come on. B plus. You can't hate it. It is one of the original bosses of all time in this game, so one of the original hard bosses I should say. So Corporeal Beast Pet gets a pass. I think we could apply the same logic to Revis, really. Kind of disappointed it isn't it isn't a gold next pet. Why is it not a gold next pet? But it is just a Reaver, which is kind of good, but got devalued a lot when they made the actual Blood Reaver familiar. Although Revis is a smaller Reaver, so you could still sort of show off your AOD prowess with him. But again, not a groundbreaking pet. Kind of forgettable. Let us see. Speaking of C, yeah, probably C. It just, the berry pet is not eye-catching enough. The Mallory pet, she's got the green, the green details on all of her legs. The berry pet is just a big spider. You can't really see which of the, Araxor combat styles it is. It is the melee one, I think. But it's too small to make out any of the details of. So, for that reason, who cares? C tier. Delta variant. We'll put that next to the normal one. The Delta variant Crosis pet is just an alternate look for Crosis. It's nothing more than that, really. It, again, I know I said this already, but Squib pet. Where is the Squib pet? We'd be so much better served by that. What else do we have? Vendiddy. B+. Maybe she belongs in B. Yeah, she actually belongs in B. Or maybe Hermid, this pet I've never used, belongs in A-. I really shouldn't be re-tiering, but here I am. I think Vendiddy's a fine pet. Same thing I think with Rarvik. They might be better combined, but they're serviceable boss pets. I could see wearing them. Grounded Calphite Queen. Just a bug at the end of the day. Not really anything special. KBD, one of my most beloved bosses of all time. How high does he go? Does he break into the S tier? Is he only an A tier? I think he might only be an A tier. I think that's the case. I'm a great fan of KBD as a boss. In fact, I'm doing it right now while I'm recording this video. But the pet, it captures his likeness well. It's got, I think it still does the burping sound effect for the poison shots. Whatever. Good pet, cute, but not as visually striking as the top, or has the achievement behind it like Vet, or those sorts of things. The ducks. Is C right for the ducks? It's just a bunch of ducks. Like, who cares? It also has the oddity of being weirdly not a boss pet. So there's that aspect to it. The dino, Pavosaurus dino. I actually don't even know their name. Pavo. That's the name of these dinos. B+. They have this annoying like roaring animation. This goes for all three. Some people really dislike the Bergrado one, but I think the Bergrado one is actually kind of good. So I think all of them just land in B. They're not like they actually look great, but they're kind of annoying and they're a real pain to get. I don't know. They're just not the biggest fan of them. Let's also put the Dagannoth Kings where they belong. Legacy Dagannoth Kings. The new ones look. I was not happy they made this change. I think they belong in D tier as well. Like, they're just, nah, not a fan. Let's see. Helwyr, at least as good as Vindicta. The Furies are maybe not quite as good. Greg, I think, probably also lands in this tier. Some of these I have pretty limited experience with. Like I had these on for maybe a month each. I was doing the God Wars 2 logs. I did them all within like 600 kills of each other, so I don't have all too much to say about them. Really need a B- tier. Let's add that. Oops, that's the regular B tier I was editing. B-. And then we'll do some re-tiering later. Krar Jr., probably a B. Same thing with Little Tuz. Krar Jr. is also technically not a boss pet, but he's cool. He gets into the list. Diddy Zag, we'll just put him in B for now. I'm gonna re-tier some of the things out of B. Like these guys are probably B-. Silly Zilly. Krill. Silly Krilly. Kriara. Yeah, but these guys are kind of good. Maybe they get the B+ tier actually, because they're like usable pets. It's kind of like a pick your faction thing. There's not too much distinct about any of the God Wars 1 pets, and they're not particularly well. I guess they are a little challenging to get, but at the end of the, I mean, in modern day RuneScape, you can just AFK all of them. So take your pick. Oh my goodness, I really left these two for last. Okay, two great picks I left for last. Blackstone Dragon, easily A tier, amazing special attack animation, and Wood Talus from Woodrago is easily pushing A+. Yeah, like you can't deny it. He's a great pet. He's got the great animations of Solak. I think he does that hands up in the air animation for the spec. Although I can't be certain. I haven't used him in a while. But yeah. Let's see if anything needs re-tiering. I think Twin Furies probably belong where they are. I can't really put any of these guys outside of B+, any of the God Wars 1s. Greg, no, Greg probably earns his spot in the B+. Corporeal Puppy. I can't say I really dislike that either. Maybe this guy. No, he probably earns his keep in C tier. Maybe the spider climbs out. It's not distinct, but it is like harder to unlock, so it kind of earns. And nah. I don't think Queen Black Dragon gets out. I don't know if the Tuzzes move. The bug, maybe the mole moves down here. So I think that's the lower tiers settled. Higher tiers, what needs to be re-tiered up here? I think I'll leave all of these as they are. I'm not sure I can in good faith leave that guy as high as he is, even though I really like King Black Dragon. Now he might have to stay up here. I think I have to move this elemental down. The flying bug is really good. I've already talked about my intense enjoyment of the next pet. Is Wood Talus S tier? Are any of the A+ ones S tier? Is Blackstone Dragon secretly A+? Is regular Zuck S tier? Oops. Controversial opinion here. It's getting really exact. I made that tier and then I literally everything that is an A plus I would have moved into S minus. It would have been like maybe Blackstone Dragon goes up, but I'm not even sure about that because a lot of these ones have great spec animations, which is what makes them move so far up in the list. I think this is the list, folks. So I can't really fit it on one page here, but this is what we've got. I obviously, like I said, I'll leave the link to the template in the description. You can make your own. I know a lot of my viewers are friends with me on Discord, so you can send me your tier lists. We can discuss things. You can discuss in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. Again, I don't really think there's any serious contest to Vit. I said that out of my mouth, and then I saw that I had created an S plus tier. So, yeah, a lot of good pets to enjoy in this game. Great thing to have the Insane Final Boss title to be able to experience them all. And I hope you enjoyed watching. So I'll be looking forward to see what you guys think about it. So be sure to tell me, and be sure to stay tuned to the channel. I've got definitely a few more video ideas still swirling around in my head, and then might go on another bit of a hiatus. But when the inspiration strikes, I'll be sure to strike while the iron is hot. So I'll see all of you around. Thank you.